Governor Mark Dayton is scheduled to leave tomorrow on a week-long trade mission to Mexico. This weekend, he has continued to work on helping businesses affected by the walleye crisis on Lake Mille Lacs. Dayton went fishing for smallmouth bass there yesterday to remind people there are more fish in the Lake Mille Lacs than just walleye. The DNR abruptly ended the walleye season because the population is at a 30-year low. Dayton hopes to stock the lake and also wants to use $20 million from the state's surplus to help businesses.
We need a special session. We need to provide all the help we can here, and we can't do it without a special session.
Dayton says he will not call the special session until a deal is worked out, and to do that, he will have to convince Senate and House leaders. And House Speaker Kurt Daudt is joining us live. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good morning, Esme.
All right, special session. The governor wants one. Do you?
Well, at this point, what I've said is let's put a working group together. They have met a couple of times last week. They'll meet next week on Thursday, and we'll let them kind of work through the issues and figure out whether one is needed. The legislators that I'm talking to right now don't seem real supportive of doing a special session, and I think there's a lot of questions about setting a precedence. Bailing out businesses in a situation like this may mean that we'll have to do this for every sort of situation that would be similar. So legislators are concerned about that.
Well, that sounds like you're a no on the special session.
Well, you know, as Speaker of the House, I try not to inject my personal opinion. Personally, I probably would be a no, but I want the House itself as a whole to make that decision.
All right, but shouldn't there be? Obviously, it's a crisis up there, and I know there's a lot of sort of back and forth about who's to blame or what's to blame. Do you think that some kind of funding should be done, either to promote, the fact that there are bass in that lake, to help these businesses?
Well, I think there are existing resources within Dayton's administration to do some promotion through the tourism, promoting people to come up to fish other species. That's exactly why the governor was there yesterday. I think that's important. Mille Lacs is a great fishing lake for many species other than walleye. It is a concern, and I think we need to figure out exactly what happened with the walleye population. Some folks are saying that the DNR mismanaged the population.
Do you think that's the case?
I think potentially, and I think potentially this situation could work itself out on its own. We've heard and been told that the 2013 walleye hatch was one of the largest in at least 30 years, maybe longer. So, those fish, before they're a catchable size, really it'll need to be 2018 or 2019 before we can catch those fish. So it's going to take some time for the lake to rebound, and if we stock it, it'll also take time.
Let me ask you on a completely different subject. Tomorrow there will be a hearing in federal court on this fixing the state's sex offender program, which a judge has declared unconstitutional. The judge has ruled that hearing will be private, not open to the press or the public. You will be there, the governor will be there, to all the top elected officials in the state. What are your thoughts about that hearing and the fact that it is private and will not be open?
Well, I have said, and I think the governor has said as well, we believe that this hearing should be open to the public. I think that just makes sense. This hearing is a little bit unconventional. The House and myself, we were not a party to the case, but we have been invited to participate in this hearing to talk about potential solutions. It's a difficult position for me because I don't speak for the entire House. We're a deliberative legislative body, and I'm sure the members of the House will want to debate any potential fixes to this problem. The House has also taken a pretty strong position that we believe our current system is constitutional, and we're very conscious of making sure that we're keeping Minnesotans safe. Some of this population is very, very dangerous, and putting them out on the street could result in reoffenses.
You told me before the show that you had wanted to bring your own lawyer and the judge has turned you down. Are you still going to show up with your lawyer tomorrow?
Well, I am going to show up. We're going to bring our attorney. The governor is bringing his general counsel. I think it's probably a bit unconventional to be invited to a hearing like this and not be allowed to bring an attorney. I certainly would like to have somebody who can advise me on the legalities of what the role of the House of Representatives is in this. So we're going to bring our attorney, and I'm hoping the judge will change his mind. If he says no, we'll have to make a decision at that point whether we continue to participate in the hearing or not.
All right, so it's possible you might not participate.
We may not be participating if our attorney isn't allowed to be there, but we may. I haven't made that decision yet, and I'd like to consult with the other members who will be there.
And quickly, you are one of the most high-profile Republicans in the state of Minnesota. Donald Trump has hijacked the conversation about the 2016 Republican presidential nomination. What are your thoughts about his comments? Do you have any concerns?
You know, I do. I have not been a fan of his style and his method of, you know, I believe what he's doing is trying to gain some attention. You know, I think he probably has some very good ideas, but the way that he's going about getting his message out, I think really is destructive. And I hope that he'll either correct that and you know, I think when you're running for president, I think we expect a little more. We expect somebody who's a little more professional. So, but we have a great cast of candidates who are running, and you know, I was incredibly impressed with the talent of the pool of candidates who are running for president on the Republican side. I think the one thing that Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton have in common is that they both have 100% name ID, and I don't know that there's any other candidate that has that. So I think that's part of why he's probably leading in the polls.
All right, Speaker Kurt Daudt, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.